how drones will be managed in the air traffic system? Glad you didn't ask because I'm about to tell you. Unmanned aerial systems.
Drones.
Or just call it a drone. Whatever you choose to call it, doesn't really matter. What does matter is they're a thing and they are growing. And obviously, it's a major concern for everyone involved in the aviation industry, especially air traffic control, on how they're going to control these things. Obviously, because the growing trend in using them in kind of congested urban areas is a major concern with them flying into people, buildings, and assortment of other things. Amazon specifically is a company that's really pushing to start using drones in a lot of their day-to-day operations. To combat this or control it more so, I guess, the FAA and NASA have worked together to create the Unmanned Air Traffic Management System. Now, this is not going to deal with drones flying in the same altitudes as like commercial jets, but it's going to be more dealing with about, I think, 400 feet AGL or below is their main concern on how they're going to do this. So, how did NASA do this? Well, they broke it down into 4 phases of testing. So, and they called them TLCs. I don't know why, but NASA does what NASA does. And so the first TLC was completed in 2015. They kind of researched how drones could be used in agriculture and geospacing and other things like that to see how it could help that industry. Really didn't pertain to how they were going to control it, though. TLC 2, which was completed in 2016, focused on monitoring drones in separately operated areas that they're unable to see. So this is really where we get into how are you going to coordinate the movement of these drones and keep them from running into each other when the operators of them cannot see each other. Following TLC 2, of course, was TLC 3, which was conducted in 2018. And this is where the technology was developed both for on the ground and on the drones in order, essentially, it kind of works like a radar in order to ping them off of each other to keep them from running into each other, of course. And then finally, there was the TLC 4, which was conducted in 2019. And this was to see, essentially before this, the program had only been implemented in smaller towns or areas where there wasn't as much congestion. The final one was to see how it would, work in a New York or Chicago area where, you have skyscrapers for miles and there's a lot more people and a lot more traffic. So in order to combat the issue of traffic and especially a lot of blind spots caused by the buildings, they started using a mix of cell phone towers, radar, and cameras actually around the city in order to keep drones separate. And of course, the major concern with this is just keeping the drones spaced out from objects on the ground. There hasn't been a lot of research in how they're going to integrate them into the larger aerospace system as a whole. Now, the FAA, on their part, have implemented, and I'm going to have to read this off, the Low Altitude Authorization Notification capability that allows pilots of drones to receive real-time authorization from ATC. Now, this is different than the type of authorization that, say, a pilot inside of an aircraft gets from ATC. They don't actually, verbally communicate. Essentially, it's kind of similar to what the next-gen system will be for aircraft, where, due to ADS-B, they can just type out messages. And this system essentially utilizes that. It allows the drone operator and ATC to essentially send messages back and forth, almost using the drone as kind of a waypoint for them. And in all of this, again, a lot of it is still very much under testing and also with local regulation. That's another thing the FAA has to combat in this, is not only their own system, but how will they integrate it into city and municipal laws as far as drone operation. And this presents a major challenge, obviously, for air traffic control. On top of, they're currently implementing, obviously, the Next Gen program, which is a major undertaking, and included with that is the Unmanned Air Traffic Management System, which is a whole another ballgame, obviously. Important notes also when managing drones is the public, uproar over it is going to cause major issues for them implementing this in some areas. Some people aren't comfortable with drones flying over their homes, even if they're not, doing anything illicit. But still, it presents a major problem for the FAA and also for companies seeking to use them in a commercial use, um, as well as anyone such as myself that buys a cheap little, $100 drone here. And it'll be interesting to see when the FAA starts to push out more information on this and how they do so. Thank you.